All right, everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome back to Ron's World. Yes, your host Ron here, bringing you this great information. I am moving from the A12 9800 to the Ryzen 3 1300X. Why? Because the 1300X has no APU accelerated into it, and the A12 9800 has an APU accelerated into it. Now, y'all keep in mind, when I built my systems way back into the early 2000, I was on the PGA 3700. I never used an APU with the designated GPU. If I'm going to use the APU, I'm going to use the APU just for basic use. But since I do more with my system in the room, such as watch TV, and I can play a little games if I want to, the APU can only play certain titles of my retro games because it's not really CPU bound hungry. But with the designated GPU, I can play a little bit more game activity if I want to play games in the room and watch my television as well too. So let me go over the specs of it and why. I told you why I'm switching. So because I don't use a APU and a GPU together. Now I didn't install the A12 9800 Radeon 7 APU controller because I'm using the Radeon 550 2GB GPU. So with that said, let's go into it. Yes, I'm going to open the curtains up, baby. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. As y'all see here, the A12 and the Ryzen 1300X. Both generations. A12 9800 is Bristol Ridge. The Ryzen 1300X is Summit Ridge. Cores. 4 cores for both, 4 threads for both. Now, what separates them? Just like I said, the A12 9800 has the Radeon 7 APU controller into it, and the Ryzen 3 1300X do not. Base. It's kind of interesting for y'all. Base is on the A12 9800, 3.8 gigahertz. Boost, 4.2 gigahertz on the Ryzen 3 1300X. Base 3.4 gigahertz, which is still good. It still moves fast. It still moves snappy. Boost is 3.7 gigahertz. So yes, I am stepping down on that. But the good thing about that, it is not power hungry. The thermal design power is 65 watts for both. Platform is the AM4 platform. Here's the interesting. The RAM frequency is DDR4 2400 megahertz for the A12 9800. If you're the kind of type that do not like upgrading your RAM, then DDR4 2400 megahertz is good for you in speed. It is snappy and moves quick. I should know because I has been using it when I built my system using this here. My editing rig just starting off because a lot of parts like CPUs, RAM, etc. was being sold out quick, fast, in a hurry in 2020 due to COVID-19. Everybody had to find other means, other job sources to do. Now, one thing about the Ryzen 3 1300X, I can still use DDR4 2400 megahertz, but I can step up to DDR4 2666 megahertz anytime soon for more fast, snappy speeds. Now, the chipset on the A12 9800, it is AMD 300 series only. So, once you have that motherboard, it is only 300 series. You cannot step up to the AMD 400 series or the 500 series with the A12 because it don't support the A12 APU platform. Now on the AMD Ryzen 1300, if you're still using this CPU and you say, hey, I want to step up to something more snappier, like maybe 4 cores, 8 threads, or maybe 6 cores, 12 threads or higher, then the Ryzen 3 1300X supports chipset platform AMD 300, 400, and 500 series. So that's not a breeze issue with that as well, neither so. But with the platforms, the A12 9800 only stays only 300 series. You cannot go no higher than that. With the Ryzen 3, you can step up to the 400 series or the 500 series if you feel like upgrading your motherboard. If you're the kind of type that don't believe in upgrading, then you're fine. Price rise. In July 27, 2017, this is when both these CPUs launches, the A12 9800 was $99 flat. So yes, you could get this as APU back then. When it came out in July 27, 2017, it's about 6 years old for both. It's a 6-year-old CPU and it's still pushing strong in 2023. It was under $100. The Ryzen 3, correction, sorry viewers, the Ryzen 3 1300X is $129, which is a little about $30 more than the A12 when they launched out. Now, you could probably get these as the A12 9800 and the Ryzen 3 1300 from AliExpress for well way under $30. Easy. If you go to Amazon or eBay, if you're trying to get both these CPUs, you're paying a little bit more, 150 plus more. So yes, stay off eBay and go to AliExpress. You can get better parts used at a nice, decent, reasonable price. So by me going over all of the specs of the A12, let's get into installing the Ryzen 3 1300X. And when I'm done installing it, I'm going to go ahead and Geekbench it as well as Cinebench it, compare scores, temps. I will be switching out the OptiX with the thermal A12, the A2 Gravity low profile cooler to see which cooler performs best on that CPU. All right, let's do this. All right, everybody, I have the CPU right here. Yep, that's her. Let me go ahead and zoom in. Yep, that's her right there. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out the plastic so y'all can go ahead and get a good, better look of it over here. Yes, sir. Y'all gotta excuse that she's a little bit out of focus, but it's okay. But I have the CPU right there. I just showed it to you. Sorry, I couldn't really give y'all the full view of the name and everything because I got a lot of light glaring onto the CPU. Alrighty, as you see, I got my Zelman CNPS OptiMax 8X, which I'm gonna remove, and I'll be doing bench tests on both. CPU temp tests on both of them. The Gravity A2 by Thermaltake, as well as the OptiMax 8X. So to see which one is going to do its job, I'm loosening it up. All right. Okie dokie. So now I'm just going to go ahead and clean her off. Let me go ahead and only get everything because I don't have all that there. So I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Okay, I am back. Okay. Go ahead and clean the CPU paste off. Okay. Just like I said, I'm going to be doing thermal tests on both of them to see which one is a good cooler. Which I already know the Zelman OptiMax 8X is a good cooler because it's going to go ahead and cool it better. It's going to go ahead and cool it a little more than the Thermaltake. Now y'all keep in mind both of it handles this CPU because it is only 65 watt thermal design power. So yes, I got no issues with that at all with the cooling. Y'all see me cleaning her up and good and clean. Go ahead and get her looking a little decent, a little better, you know. Okay, she's nice, good, and clean. Now the motherboard is the ASRock A320M HDV. You can see it right there. If you can, if not, sorry about the positioning of everything. This is my BioStar Radeon 552GB GPU right here, and they got the RAM, which is 2400 megahertz. Okay, she's out and in with the Ryzen 3. Now y'all keep in mind to go ahead on and you got the type up top. You always match the type with the type of the CPU. So always make sure the type is good. Make sure she real seated in there again. She's seated and she closed down. The hatch is down. And let me go ahead on and clean the gel off and apply more thermal design paste. Yep, you always want to make sure you clean your bracket good. Okay, the CPU paste is off. Now let's apply some more paste. My paste, some of y'all may rank it, but that's always good. This is the HY400 thermal grease. It's good. It keeps my temps down. You know, y'all like that thick paste. My thing is with that, I've tried to avoid using thick paste because you got to run your CPU to loosen up the paste, because you don't want to snatch out your CPU and damage the pen. So you want to be very careful of that. Always want to give your CPU paste always a good stir so you can stir all the compounds and stuff back into it. Okay, that should be enough. Because when I apply the cooler, it's going to spread anyway. So, yep, that's enough. Okay. Let's go ahead and lock this down here. Okay. Okay, she's locked in place. Now I'm going to tighten her back up. Okay, in place. Fan back on. Okay, fan's back on. Snaps in place. Nice, good, simple, easy setup. Okay. Now all I have to do now is run Cinebench, run Geekbench, get the scores, the benchmark, do a CPU test on both CPUs, CPU coolers, the Xeon 8X, as well as the Thermaltake Gravity A2 cooler. And I'm going to go ahead and see which one is cooling good in temps. And if the Gravity A2 keep the 65 watt thermal design power CPU cool, I'll be going with that. And if not, then I'll go ahead and switch it to the Xeon. I'm going to go ahead and see. Alrighty, and then when I'm done doing that, I will be going ahead and giving you my input on the Ryzen 3 1300X, and you already know why I'm switching. So, which one is it a good CPU to use or not? Alright everybody, everything is done on the 1300X. I had little issues with it because as I was looking at it, when I dropped it in, a couple of pins was bent. So when I went to fire up, she didn't boot up. So when I noticed that, I was pissed. But I managed to straighten those pins out and I got it in. She posted, and here are the results of the test scores. Alrighty, reading off my paper. So alrighty, in the A12 9800, The multi-cores was 1270, and the single cores was 501. MP ratio was 12.53. It ranked 13 in multi-cores, and it ranked 12th in single cores. Now on the Ryzen 3 13900X, I was pretty shocked because I thought it was gonna be like ranked like a little lower, like 1260 or 1265. No, in multi-scores on Cinebench, we're looking at a multi-score test of 2227. 2227. Yes. 2227, which is great. I was shocked. And single core was 869, which beat the A12 509. So yes, it moves a little faster than the A12 9800. Now, only thing I was giving up was a little bit on the base because the A12 9800 is 3.8 gigahertz with the Ryzen 3 1300X 3.4 gigahertz, which is still fast. Anything 2.5 or higher is great in speed. Boost, I gave up a little bit in boost, dropping it down to 3.7, and on the A12 9800 was 4.2. But I don't have an overclocking motherboard, so I couldn't boost the potential level to gain the full speed on that boost level because I don't believe in overclocking my parts. But overall, she did good. Now in the multi-core test, the temp test on the Xiaomi Optima 8X was 57 degrees, and on the single 61 degrees. Now on the A12 9800, max temps was on the multi-core was 88. That was hot, and everything was tightened, so that was hot because of the APU. So it kind of like gave a little extra push because it was reading the APU instead of the GPU, so it gave it a little power performance. And on the single core test, she did a total of 63 on the single core. So yes, the Optima 8X by Xiaomi keeps it cool. Now I said I was gonna go ahead on and do the thermotake, the A2 gravity A2 temp test, but I just say no, I'm tired of testing right now, so I'll just leave that alone. But I will do that into another test, and I'm gonna compare the old scores with the A12, the gravity A2 by thermotake. So I'm happy with the performance of the CPU. I ain't got to worry about no APU because just like I said earlier, I do not use an APU and a GPU together. I use the CPU that has no graphics in it because when you install it, it's going to be reading it and then asking you to install those drivers when you have a GPU drivers already installed. So, but on the other hand, I'm happy with the test. And I want to thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel, and I have more testing on its way. Peace.